Welcome to Festpod, the unofficial download festival guide. I'm Neil Wilkinson. This is the place for news and rumours about the festival, advice for going, and for your chance to get involved and ask your questions too. So now let's welcome my fellow host, singular. Lee Ellingham, how are you?
I am very well, thank you. I'm really excited to be doing this, as we haven't done it in a long time.
Yes, this is episode 11 after 10 amazing episodes. We had a little bit of a break, not by choice.
No, not by choice, unfortunately. But yeah, we're back, and hopefully we can get this rolling a bit more regularly.
And now your internet works.
I have internet. I have a nice little computer space as well. Not that I have a computer because I broke that last week. But yeah, 2 out of 3 is not bad.
Yes, it's been a life-changing couple of months, hasn't it, for you?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So find us on the socials by looking for Festpod or by going to festpod.co.uk and say hi, ask our advice about download, or just chime in with whatever you want. So let's get started with festival news. We've got quite a bit to cover because obviously we haven't been around for a couple of months at least. A few festivals have happened, 1 or 2, just a couple. But let's start off with Download first of all. Download has added a few bands.
They've added 20 bands, and there's some decent names in that. I'm going to list all of them, so if I lose my breath, you know why.
Okay, let's have some appropriate music to go underneath it then. Off you go.
Go on then. We've got A Day to Remember, Shinedown, Volby, Mastodon, Daughtry, Code Orange, Ice Nine Kills, Malevolence, Tremonti, Cassillette, Normandy, Meet Me at the Altar, Dragged Under, Gender Roles, Creeper, Obituary, Dying Fetus, Thick, and Death Blooms.
Wow, that's quite a list.
It is. Actually, I'm just going to go on a little bit of a tangent, as I mentioned Death Blooms last. Did you see this bit of news regarding Death Blooms? So, someone I speak to on Instagram, her Instagram handle is KLily, or Existential, with the E's being 3s. She's had a bit of a mishap, or had a bit of a drama with Airbnb. Have you seen this, Neil?
No.
Right. So she's due to stay in an Airbnb in Bristol, or was due to stay in an Airbnb in Bristol. And the person who's obviously hosting asked her why she was making the visit. Obviously, being friendly, being kind of making conversation. She mentioned that she was seeing a band called Death Blooms. After a while, this person did get back to her and said that they didn't like the music. It was aggressive. And there's loads of vocabulary that you use for it, but it's made local metal headlines.
No way.
It's a really funny old story. So she's basically obviously asked why can I not stay? He's given her the reason.
She couldn't stay.
They basically refused her to stay because of the taste in music, basically, to put it simply. So she shared it online, and the band got hold of her and basically they've made T-shirts with the vocabulary that this person has used on the back of the T-shirt with Death Blooms across the front, and said that if they manage to sell out of the T-shirts, that they will pay for her accommodation in Bristol so she can see them in Bristol.
Oh, isn't that good? See, that's really aggressive, isn't it?
I know. Horrible people to do such a thing. I bought a T-shirt. I had to. Because 1, I like Death Blooms, and 2, I thought the story was so amazing, I had to buy a T-shirt. So I'm hoping, I really do hope that they do manage to sell out of these T-shirts so she can get her accommodation for seeing Death Blooms in Bristol.
So if anybody listening wants to buy a T-shirt to help out, where do they go?
If you look on Death Bloom's Instagram page or any of their other socials, they'll have a link towards where to buy the t-shirts. It's very easy to find. It's just such a comical story. I mean, we've all heard about the way that people believe that rock music and video games affect young people and how some people look at it. But I never thought it'd be this. That it would happen like this, and this is a really funny story.
You wouldn't think that people still think like that, but obviously they do.
No, exactly. You'd hope they would, and you'd hope people would be a bit more open-minded these days. Which I mean, generally, some people are, but obviously, this person just decided they were didn't like the music because it was aggressive.
As someone who's been to a lot of gigs of different types of music, because I used to be a steward, I used to work at concerts. That was my job. I used to be a steward and show people to their seats and show people where the toilets were and this and that and the other. I can absolutely confirm that rock people are amongst the nicest people that you could ever spend any time with. And that is including having worked at hip-hop gigs, at pop gigs, at sort of oldie people type sort of opera gigs. I mean, because everyone's so demanding at a certain level and then they're screaming in your face at another level. But rock people are just chilled and nice people in my experience. So I don't know where they've got... I guess it's based on ignorance, that sort of view, isn't it?
I imagine obviously they were interested in obviously the sort of band that I'm going to call her Kay, so I think that's what I name it. They were obviously interested in what the music Kay was listening to and what obviously she was going to see the night that she was staying in Bristol, and they just not liked it. Like it's aggressive. I mean, I've just started a new job again. The same sort of people I work with are like that. I was after my second day. How can you like this music? It's so aggressive. It's like, well, it's just what I enjoy. I don't find it aggressive.
Yeah. Are they? What sort of demographic do they fit in? The people that you work with?
They're very sort of drum and bass sort of types, and we had a bit of a mix up, a bit of a mesh up on our Saturday when I did some overtime. I put on Korn, which is obviously Korn favourite band. Yep. Put that on, and they said, "Oh, do you mind if I pop my music on as well?" I was like, "Yeah, go for it. I'm not gonna stand there and tell someone they can't put their own music on if I've been like making their ears bleed for the whole morning." And yeah, they stuck on some drum and bass. And do you know what? There's a bit of background music. I could enjoy it, but if I want to pop my earphones in and obviously have my own time with my own music, it's not something that I go to. But for someone to say like, it's so aggressive, like how can you enjoy it? It's because I do. Like that. Okay, that's my aggression. Then I'm not an aggressive person outside. Outside in the world. Do you know what I mean?
Did you hear about Parklife festival in Manchester that's happened within the last week or two?
I'd noticed it had gone on, but I haven't heard any stories come back out of it. I assume you have.
Yes. Well, I live in Manchester, and so this is on my radar a bit more. But there have been lots of reports of people being very aggressive, and there's the word of the day, and pushing past people and being very rude, and just a bad atmosphere is being reported on the socials that I have read. And
to be honest, the same can be said for Reading. Obviously, that one's a bit more local to me. The same can be said for Reading. Like you said, just a bit more personal aggression, and I think there was incidents of people lighting tents on fire. Obviously, we all saw the rubbish and the crap that was left at Leeds. Yeah. The same was said for Reading. But yeah, these aren't. I mean,
they're not metal festivals.
Without saying too elitist. I mean, and because Download is not perfect, we got picked up on that on Facebook, didn't we? Like we were trying to make a point that the vegan camp out had done so well compared to Leeds that someone popped up and said that Download is just as bad. We know. However, the vibe generally at Download and Bloodstock is just a bit more chilled, a bit more relaxed, and sometimes the smaller festivals like Bloodstock, there is a bit more of a care for the environment. People enjoy they obviously they want the festival to continue, so they try and treat it with a little bit more respect.
Maybe I'm in the minority here at Download, but I don't ever remember being pushed past or anyone being aggressive towards me at Download or any other sort of rock festival.
I think the level of pushing past and the level of maybe aggression or frustration, obviously we all go through our own different things at different times. I think I'm expecting. So if it does happen to me, I'm not noticing it. But again, when you're sort of, when you're trying to enjoy yourself, and it just seems to be a bit more, the aggression seems to be, word of the day. It seems to be a bit more over the top in comparison to what you're expecting, then it can be seen a bit more in your face.
I was at a gig last night. It wasn't necessarily a metal gig. It wasn't particularly a rock gig. It was Nile Rodgers, who is a guitar legend, who has written so many massive pop songs and disco songs that you've heard and loved over the past 30 years, 40 years. But I was at that with Chic with her, just to mention that. So just a life goal achieved to see them live. That's all.
That's good.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a great gig. Apart from some of the people aggressively pushing past me. Even at a Chic gig, which is disco music. It's, love and fun and lightness is disco music.
Yeah.
But yet there was.
I tell you what, to be honest, when we went, the last time I saw Volbeat in Brixton, we sort of got that same vibe. Like the Volbeat music is quite up and happy and jolly sort of metal. I mean, you imagine Johnny Cash with heavy metal. That's Volbeat. Just to obviously give if someone's not heard of Volbeat, that's just to put a little picture in your head. So it's not aggressive, it's not violent sort of music, but yet at Brixton felt a bit sort of uncomfortable because people were sort of aggressively pushing past us and trying to like get to the front. They were the only person that was special at that gig. They had to be at the front sort of type thing and just pushing past and being rude. And you wouldn't expect it as sort of a genre of music that isn't classified as the likes of Death Blooms have been classified as aggressive.
You've just reminded me of the time you were at Download Pilot and you had a bit of a Barney with somebody watching Sleep Token.
Oh yeah, yes, the fella at the front. Oh god,
yes,
yeah. I didn't understand. I think that's where my sort of my anger came from. Is I didn't understand what he was trying to get at because he was watching the gig. I was watching the gig at the front. We're both being pushed from behind because that's where the mosh pit was.
Yeah.
His anger is at me. I purely believe because I was the first person he could see, and just assumed it was me that was pushing him. And it's like, no, I'm watching the same gig you are, pal. I'm being pushed from behind as well. Like, back off, get out of my face.
Yeah, the point. Yeah, there's angry people all over the place. And the aim of the game is to try and avoid those people. But, on the whole, widely, people are not angry. People are just there to enjoy the gig. You've mentioned Cassiette, who's...
I did. Do you know what?
To Download.
Yes, I'd never heard of her before. So I gave her a listen in the car the other day. And I really, really enjoyed the music to the point where my little list, which has got a lot of pluses and minuses and negatives and positives, all sorts of things, that my list that bands I'm going to see. And I am actually going to go and try and see if I can catch her because I really enjoyed the music that I listened to in the car. So, yeah, why? What did you think?
Well, I saw her at Download Pilot, and I really liked her.
Oh, did you now?
Yes.
Oh, well, there you go. Was that on the Sunday, the day that I decided to duck out?
I think it might have been.
Yeah.
But there is, by the way, if you haven't yet watched our coverage of Download Pilot, you can watch the videos by searching for Download Pilot on my YouTube page, which is Wilco Productions. And you can see all the adventures that we had. We had many. We
did. Going on to another band on that list, Malevolence. Now, I'd heard good things about Malevolence. I didn't get to see Malevolence. Didn't get to see them at the pilot because me being, I ducked out on the last day. However, got to see them at Bloodstock. And
you went to Bloodstock?
I did go to Bloodstock. Did I not tell you?
Wow. I'm sure we're going to be hearing about that later.
Oh, yes. I saw Malevolence at Bloodstock, and they were fucking wicked. They were really, really, really good. They played on the Saturday, and Saturday was a really good day, actually, for bands like during the day. Not that I wasn't keen to see the headliner, but yeah, with Malevolence, Wargasm that we saw at the pilot. I saw the pilot.
Yeah.
They were amazing. Oh, another news story that we've not been able to touch on since obviously not doing this. The Heavy Metal Music Awards happened a few weeks ago. And lead singer from Wargasm, I believe her name is Milky, she got up on stage with Trash Boat. Now, she was wearing a metal sort of mesh top, and you could see her nipples.
Nips.
What a shame. What a shame. But you could also see the lead singer of Trash Boat's nipples as well. They cut the fucking stream because of her boobs, because of her nipples.
Nipple censorship.
Yeah, I know. And but then when I think there's another band that played just after them, he came out topless, and the live stream or the footage carried on. They stopped filming when they saw that her nipples were showing.
They're just boobs. We've all got them.
Oh, exactly. Do you know what I mean? I don't get it. I honestly don't. They're nipples, for fuck's sake. Like, we've all got nipples. A female's nipples are more useful than a man's, but in a non-sexual way. I'd like to point this out in a non-sexual way. Okay, we shouldn't be looking at them in a sexual way. They are. It's just it boggles my mind. But that's another can of worms.
Oh, was this in America?
No, this was in the UK.
Fuck off. No.
Yeah.
I'm surprised to hear that because they're quite a lot more sort of censorship happy in America for nipples.
Oh, yeah.
I'm surprised to hear that happened in Britain.
Yeah. I mean, still touching on the Heavy Metal Music Awards, there's a few bands that got some, I think Enter Shikari won Best Production, which, if you remember the pilot and remember the stage show with Enter Shikari, that award was fully deserved because that's one of the best light shows I've seen at a gig in fucking ages.
Yeah, probably ever, to be honest. It was amazing. Yeah. Again, footage of that in our videos.
Yeah. Who else won awards? I think Foxjaw won an award. I'm very excited to see Foxjaw at Download next year. I saw them in Walthamstow Signature Brewery in May.
Who's that?
And for a little tiny Foxjaw, Phoxjaw.
Okay.
They played a really, really tiny gig in Walthamstow in London in May for must have been like 40, 50 people because obviously the restrictions in that. But they were absolutely fantastic. So if you get a chance to have a look at Foxjaw at next year's Download, or even I believe they're touring with the Wild Hearts as well coming up soon, I do recommend seeing them. They were a very, very good band.
And can I just mention how nice it is for us all to be back at gigs without...
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God.
With that, because
absolutely,
like I say, I was at a gig last night and I didn't have to show any proof of anything. I didn't have to wear a mask. Didn't have to do nothing. So just went to a gig like it was ordinary.
Yeah, and hopefully that's the way that we're going. Obviously, news, there's so many different things being said about vaccine passports, whether we are or we aren't getting them. Nightclubs obviously being mandatory, but I totally get what you're saying. it's just nice to be able to go out and do things and have some sort of sense of normality.
Do you know what? I feel it makes such a difference mentally. It's so important.
Big time, because I mean, at the end of the day, we all work ourselves to the bone, Monday to Friday. Some people 7 days a week, and the likes of music, your live sport, your nights out, stuff like that. That's what keeps us sane. And then when we lost that, yeah, I'm not surprised people were mental health was being affected in a really negative way.
It's so important.
Big time. The bands that weren't even on the lineup for 2020 or 2021, Code Orange, who I saw in 2017 at Download, they've had loads of new music since then, so I'd definitely be excited to see them. Ice Nine Kills, if I had to describe them, it's very post-hardcore sort of riffs and music under some punk pop emo vocals.
Ooh.
Do you know what? Again, I listened to them on in my car, and I could definitely see myself watching them at Download.
The way you've described it sounds very appealing.
Yeah. Who else we got? Trey Monty. Again, gave them a bit of a listen in the car. I wouldn't know how to describe them, but they were very interesting and good, and I could recommend them. Normandy. Again, not heard of them much. Meet Me at the Altar, never listened to them. Drags Under, another one. Who else was not on the lineup but is now? Thick. Just pure and a plain, simple name like Thick.
Thick.
They were quite interesting.
How are we spelling Thick? Is it THICC, like the young people?
No. This is the old school way of saying it. It's THICK.
Oh, the dictionary version of Thick. Okay.
That's it. Yeah, the dictionary version. Yeah. Again, another band I've not really heard much of, but we'll be definitely listening to you from now until June.
Oh God! Oh, I'm already excited. I want to see them all.
No, I'm the same. When they did that announcement, because that came out of the blue for me, I was just like, "Oh my God, the download announcement!" Even shocked, even made the wife jump on. She said, "Oh my God!" And she's like, "What? Big!" I was like, "Big news! What? Download announcement?" Oh, okay.
Because when was the last time that the wife went? Was it 2016?
It was 2016. Yeah.
So
she prefers Bloodstock, being a bit more of a smaller festival.
Yeah, fair enough.
Which I totally get that.
Even we're looking at smallening it because we don't want to have to walk for miles and.
Oh yeah, of course. Obviously, with doing the RIP for next year, absolutely. Obviously, the walk from camping in our cars to the arena is a lot shorter.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean the walk from campsite to arena for other festivals, apart from your big major ones, is incredibly short, and it was put into perspective how much the smaller festivals do get it right sometimes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, Download looks like it's going in the right direction with all that anyway, so we'll see, won't we, when it happens.
Of course. I mean, with the new layout changes, which again were announced back in 2020, and there's been no more news on how much it's going to be affected come 2022, if anything's going to change or not. But it looks like, again, that they're making a real effort to make the walk and the village a ton closer to the arena, so obviously save people's feet.
It is literally a hike. When you park your car at Download, or the way it has been at least, when you park your car, grab all your shit out the car, and it's a lot of shit, because let's face it, you're camping for a week, and then you've got to literally hike up hills, up stone, mountain tops.
Mountain tops.
It is though, isn't it? It's a proper hike.
It is a ball ache.
Especially if it's muddy and raining.
Yeah, I mean, 2019 was horrible. I mean, one of the guys that we were camping with, if you remember, once we actually got to the top of the hill and into the queue, he had to sit down because he looked like he was going to vomit. I mean, he did have everything in the he did have everything in the kitchen sink on his back, but I mean, still.
Oh, that was funny though. Yeah, so I'm pleased that they're improving that. Do we have any more bands that have caught your attention?
Not yet. It's only been about a week or so since the announcement, and I've only got around to listening to so many. But I will be checking out as many of them as I can, as I usually do between now and June.
Oh, you'll get to them all, won't you?
Oh, should do.
And,
it's a long time.
Well, yeah. There's a lot of time to fill between now and June.
Indeed.
This being mid-September. But when does download happen in Germany?
That is in... Oh, fucking hell. That's a question you had to ask, wasn't it?
It's just a question. Just a question.
It's just a question that I didn't write the answer down to earlier. But where there's a will, there's a way, and I will find it for you.
There is Google.
There is Google, but however, there is also our Instagram page.
Our Instagram page, which is at fest.pod.
We don't just post TikTok videos and download festival announcements. There's all sorts there. So please follow and get in touch. Right, back to the main point. The Germany download, which is brand new for 2022, is happening on the 24th of June. So it's literally the week after, or the week or two after download Donington.
Oh, so that doesn't give us much time to recover from Donington before we have to go to Germany and see who.
Do you know what? I'd before I tell you, I'd love to go to that, to be honest. But I have my apprehensions about another German rock festival. Again, I'll open that can of worms up in a sec. They announced 3 bands. The headliner, Metallica.
What?
Why can we not get Metallica at download in the UK, but the German version can? It upsets me.
It's weird,
but
isn't it?
I mean, people come up with excuses that obviously since Metallica last played Download Festival, they've done Reading, Leeds, they've done Glastonbury, which are considered bigger festivals than Download. But I mean, to my mind, the majority of the Download audience would appreciate the likes of Metallica more than, say, the newer, younger audience at Reading and Leeds, and even potentially Glastonbury.
And wouldn't they sell tickets? Do you think they'd sell a couple of tickets for that?
If Metallica headlined, along with the likes of AC/DC and a couple of other big old name bands like that, they'd sell the festival out. Like, there would be 100,000 people every day for Metallica.
All you've got to do is look a few years ago, and Guns N' Roses, I've never seen it so busy. No,
I know. I hate it. If I'm completely honest, I absolutely hated how busy it was. I mean, I'm glad that Download managed to sell out as well, or sell as well as they did. Too many people. 100,000 people is just too many people in that sort of area as well.
Yeah. And we didn't even watch them, did we?
No, we went on the Ferris wheel. That was fun.
Yeah, I preferred that, to be honest. But anyway.
I did. They also announced 2 other bands. Sabaton, who are a huge power metal band in Europe, so I'm not surprised they've been announced.
I'm sure we've seen them.
Punch.
Have we seen them?
We have seen Sabaton. Yeah, they played on main stage in 2017, and I think that might have been it, 2017. I'm actually seeing them at Wembley in March. So
that'll be a hell of a gig, won't it?
So they're a good old-fashioned European power metal band, and they are always fun.
Wow.
It's the likes of Powerwolf, who are playing Download, a power metal band. If you like Powerwolf, you'll like a lot. You will enjoy a lot of power metal bands, and I couldn't recommend them more. If you just Spotify the genre power metal, and have some fun.
And who was the third band that's on in Germany?
Five Finger Death Punch.
Oh yes, well.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen them a couple of times, and without sounding too horrible, because I don't like being negative, it's the same show every time you see them. Unfortunately, it's the same as Skin Dread as well.
It's not necessarily a bad thing. You know, if you like it, you like it.
Oh, of course, yeah. If you know what you're in, you know what you're getting yourself in for, and you enjoy that, then yeah, crack on. But there's some bands that once you've seen them once, you don't have to see them again. And for me, Five Finger Death Punch is that band.
Yeah, do you know what? Do you know what popped into my head when you saw that? When you said that? What are they called? They wear skin tight fucking leggings. And...
Oh, Steel Panther.
Steel Panther, yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree. Again, saw them in 2017.
Once you've seen them, you don't need to see them again.
But you know what? I found them hilarious. I thought they were really funny. Again, I'm hoping it was all tongue in cheek and sort of a parody on other 80s rock bands, the misogyny and the sexism, stuff like that. Yeah, you'd like to think it's tongue in cheek. I found, and I mean, it was funny the way they were talking about it was funny. But again, you don't need to be seeing that every single time. And
no.
Yeah, I agree. Once you've seen them once, that's fine.
Yeah, exactly. You can see bands that you prefer.
Yeah. I mentioned Skindred a minute ago. Now, I bumped into a chap at the local Sainsbury's who we were talking about festivals last night, and he said he's seen Skindred in Cambridge. And how do you pronounce their name? Skindred. Do you call it Skindred or Skindred?
It depends on what time it is, how much sleep I've had.
How much drink you've had.
Yeah, what day it is. It changes. Skindred.
He pronounced it as Skindred. And I was a bit confused. So obviously, I knew who he meant, but I was just like, it's an E. I always thought it was Skindred. Because it's not Judge Dredd, is it?
Judge Dredd. Well, people have accents, don't they, and things.
His accent, he's a local boy. He's a local accent. He had the same accent as me, and he said Skindred. So it's just one thing that popped into my head last night, thinking, have I been saying it wrong all this time? Or are people just calling it as they see it?
Let us know, how do you pronounce Skindred? Get in touch on the socials. Just find us, look for Festpod, and just randomly messages with how you pronounce Skindred.
I can also divulge now into my Bloodstock experience, or shall we have that as its own section? What do you want to do?
Bloodstock? You went to Bloodstock?
I did. It feels like ages ago now. I mean, where we are, mid-September. It was ages ago. It's about a month ago now. It was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I mean, from what was happening in my own life personally at the time, Bloodstock. I only went to Bloodstock to sort of relax and chill out, and that's exactly what I did. Didn't do my usual thing like a download where you and I will get steaming on the Friday and just be drunk and merry all week. Yeah. I didn't take enough beer in the first place, but it was a very, very relaxing weekend, and I saw some really amazing bands. Really? Like I said earlier, I saw Wargasm Malevolence on the Saturday. They were incredible. A lot of people complained about Wargasm, but I mean, it's just down to obviously your personal taste in music. I thought they were brilliant.
They complained about them. Why?
Oh, because it's not. So Bloodstock can be a bit niche. Again, they like power metal, European black and death metal, and that sort of thing. It didn't fit into that category, or didn't fit into that genre. So some people were a bit miffed by them being on the lineup. Is
there more than one stage?
There is. I know exactly where you're going with that. But no, people like to complain.
Especially metalheads.
Yeah. But yeah, obviously, Bloodstock had a lot of trouble with getting bands to play the festival because obviously of COVID and that. They almost had to, apart from a couple, they had to almost scrap all of the overseas bands and have a fully UK lineup.
Well, that's it, isn't it? Because if people can't travel, then it's going to be a very short festival if you can only get, the bands that you've initially booked.
Devin Townsend, who was the best artist all weekend by far on the Friday night, he did the 2-week quarantine. Didn't have to. Obviously, he didn't have to do the full 2 weeks. Only had to do like 10 days. But he did the full 2-week quarantine, and did a lot of. He said at the gig as well. He'd only met the band members, because they were all British band members. He'd only met them 2 days prior to the festival and had to rehearse like two days straight to be able to get it all right. And they were absolutely amazing. I've put a highlight video up on my personal Instagram.
Oh, have you?
And I was going to do a bit of a vlog like you do for Bloodstock, but obviously once I fucked my computer up, that sort of delayed it a little bit.
Oh, you pushed it off your desk, didn't you?
Oh, I didn't mean to.
But you did.
Mrs. asked for a charger. I've opened the drawer. The fucking screen's fallen down off of this little ledge, and it's hit my microphone or the microphone stand, and it's put a nice little crack in the screen, like under the actual plastic screen. There's a little like sort of crack on the image, so we've had to send that away.
Oh, right.
To get it repaired.
I didn't realise. I thought you were going to get a brand new one.
No. I did push for that, but she said no.
Oh, I would have done.
We can just get it repaired. Okay.
Yeah, but it's broke now. Look at it. So, Bloodstock. How many bands are we talking?
So Bloodstock did. They do the same amount of bands as Download do. They had that. They had an extra day. They usually do music from the Thursday evening all the way till Sunday evening. And they did from the Wednesday evening all through Thursday and into Friday. So this time round, we probably had about 160, 170 bands.
That's value for money.
Oh, big time. That's the best thing about Bloodstock. It is value for money. I mean, even the VIP, which is obviously that's the way that podcast celebrities like me and you, that's the way we go these days. VIP.
Oh, you're funny.
We did VIP, and the cost of one VIP ticket for Bloodstock costs roughly the same as a standard ticket at Download.
Really?
Yeah, and obviously the RIP or the VIP experience at Download is £600. I paid for 2 tickets that same price for Bloodstock. So when it comes to value for money, it is. Who else did I see? Have you heard of the band Raised by Owls?
Yes.
They played and they were fucking incredible.
Really?
It's so funny. They came out to old 90s cheesy dance music. And it was brilliant from the get-go. Mr. Blobby came out on bloody stage.
No way.
Mr. Blobby with a fucking 20-inch rubber cock came out on stage.
Oh, he's a legend.
What else happened? They played the Chuckle Brothers theme for about 2 minutes before going into one of their songs.
Oh, well, that's always fun.
Oh, it was a proper, because I think that they're roughly sort of our age, like they're mid 30s, 40s. So
I'm not 40 yet.
Not yet, dear. So they're proper millennial sort of age, and it's right up our alley for a sense of humour in that.
Yes.
Check their Instagram out, their TikTok, their Facebook. They do comedy videos all the time as well.
Oh.
And I met them. I met the drummer.
You and drummers? What is it with you and drummers?
They're just sexy people. Drummers are just sexy.
Go on. What happened?
Yeah, but I saw them. I saw his black curly hair, bless him, and his little beard, and then I thought I'd walk up, say hello. I mentioned Festpod to him, so I don't know if he's ever going to listen to it or whatever. But I thought,
hello, if you're listening, hello.
Yeah, slipped into conversation. They were lovely. Again, really, really nice lads. Again, the proper our sense of humour for our age group. They were brilliant. The stage show and obviously off stage, absolutely fantastic. They even said to me as well, I suppose you'll be wanting to speak to, I can't remember his name now, but you'll want to speak to the lead singer. I went, no, you're all right, even in the videos as well. And they enjoyed that. But
no way.
They were really, really nice. I met one of the directors of Bloodstock as well, Rachel.
How the bloody hell do you meet any of these VIPs that just randomly in the crowd? You just seem to find them.
I was about to go into, or we were just checking out a queue to go into the rock and metal art gallery that's at Bloodstock, which again is amazing. All the art. So sorry to go on another tangent. The artwork from the man that created Bloodstock's an artist, an album cover artist. He did a lot of work for Saxon in the 80s. And he's made up basically paintings, a massive gallery of all the old posters. There's photographs.
That sounds
of
great.
Lemmy. The guitars and stuff are on the walls. One of Lemmy's old guitars is on the walls. It's amazing. If I can finally get my bloody videos up, you'll be able to see. But yeah, I met the director Rachel in the queue for that and asked if we needed to wear a mask inside, and she said no. You can if you want, but you don't have to. I was like, wicked. And I said, do you mind if I get a picture? She says, oh no, I'm not Vicky. Vicky is the one that's always on social media.
The main one.
She's almost the face of Bloodstock these days.
Mm-hmm.
And I went, no, it's fine. No, I know who you are as well. It's fine. I don't mind getting a picture. I'd like to get a picture with you as well. She's like, oh, all right then.
Right.
Oh no, it's luck. Bumping into these random people, it's luck. I'm hoping that will be the same down as guest area.
I generally don't look at other people when I'm at festivals.
This was just me and Rachel. This was just in passing because we were going past the gallery. She was at the front of the queue trying to organise the queue and obviously make sure everyone was able to get in when they wanted. And I thought, I recognise her. I'm going to tap on the shoulder, and it was her. It was the same with Josh Hardy at the Download pilot. Like I said to you, I sort of think, I know that guy.
He wasn't even facing us. He was facing the other way, and you still recognised him.
It was his arm. Because he put onto his Instagram that he was already going to Download pilot, and I managed to catch one of his stories the day of the pilot, and I noticed obviously what he was wearing, and noticed his tattoos, and I thought, that's fucking Josh Hardy from Envisions. So I thought I'd have to go tap him on the shoulder.
And didn't he invite you to have a drink with him or something like that?
He did, and we're going to keep mentioning this because if by chance he is listening to this, we are massive now. We keep getting spotted everywhere, don't we, Neil?
Yeah.
But yeah, come the gig in December, which I could now go to. He should come for a beer, and hopefully, if I do see him, like, you invited me for a beer. Do you remember back in June? Like, who the fuck's this weirdo?
I recognised you by your arm. Oh my god! Yeah.
Do you know what? Meeting people at Bloodstock wasn't the best thing about Bloodstock either. All right, so obviously the bands that I saw were amazing. The people that I bumped into, they were amazing too. But there was one thing that stood out, and this is absolutely crazy. I've never experienced it before in my life. So Bloodstock is dubbed a family-friendly festival because you can take your babies and your toddlers and have a good time. What I saw was not very family-friendly. I was walking out of one of the tents and I saw what I thought to be a very attractive lady. She was in very skimpy clothing. She was in her underwear and suspenders and just boob tape. She obviously caught my eye. Little did I realise, little did I notice, that behind her was a man holding a leash that was attached to her neck. And that was strange enough.
Was it?
He's obviously clocked that I've noticed, and a couple of the guys in the queue that I was in had noticed too. He stopped her. He pulled her by the neck, stopped her, and started like, "Now you behave." And he got out a whip and started whipping her in the boob, in the bum, and he put it in her face. It's like probably like dominating her in front of everyone, embarrassing her. And I thought, that's insane. I mean, you hear of these things and you see these things on videos on the internet, and they're not recently. And it was just there in plain sight in front of me.
Well,
and even the bloke in front of me said around, I thought this was a family friendly festival. And I was like,
Hopefully the woman was complicit and she wanted that to happen.
This is what I said, because Rachel was in the tent at the time and I was in the queue to grab our VIP goodie bags. And when I went back, I said, I assume it was consensual. I assume she was happy doing it. I assume that it was all legitimate.
Doing it on purpose.
They were happy to do it. But it was just a weird experience just to see it there. I mean,
yeah, I mean, you can put on a festival and call it family friendly, but not everyone's got a family, and it is a festival, so it's kind of debatable as to whether just because you've called it family friendly that everybody has to behave themselves in a certain way.
She wasn't behaving; she was being punished. She was being whipped.
But part of me, I mean, I'm getting the impression that you quite enjoyed seeing that and that you might like to partake.
I enjoyed it to the extent that it was something that I'd never seen in front of my face before, and it was funny to see. You hear of these submissive and dominating sort of types and BDSM and all that sort of thing. They're your little genres on Pornhub. Not that I've been on Pornhub in a long time.
Of course not.
But then to see it like sort of up close and personal, because he wasn't exactly dressed like appropriately either. He was in some sort of like leather Y fronts and
leather Y fronts.
Oh, mate, honestly, it was a crazy experience. It was really funny.
Oh, you should have taken a picture and put it on the Festpod Instagram.
I almost wanted to, but then at the same time, like, I thought, if they see me taking it, is that not a bit intrusive?
They want you to see it. They're doing it on purpose.
Yeah, but I still feel bad doing it.
Fair enough. They're not walking down the street doing it, but they're out and about at a festival in full view of thousands of people doing it. They want you to see that. They want you to know what they're getting up to.
So do you ever get that experience where you've seen one person once and you see them all the time over the weekend at a festival?
I've had it where I've seen one person once and then I'm avoiding them for the rest of the festival.
Okay, same sort of thing. And I noticed them absolutely everywhere. And at one point, they were sat down eating some food, and she dribbled on purpose, like she spat it out, like it just dribbled down her chin. And he pulled out a hanky out of his leather Y fronts and just wipes it as if she was a baby. And I'm trying to get my head around, like, what sort of...
Were you at the right festival?
I think so. I have had experiences at Bloodstock that has made me think, where the fuck am I? My first year there, we bumped into a couple of chaps in a big old tent, and they had these massive, like, gallon jugs of cider. The wife loves her cider, so she's had a little taste. Oh, that's really good, but I don't think I'll drink too much of it. You're going to have to drink mine. All right, then took a mouthful. I went, could you fill my horn up as well, please? Because obviously we had horns. We were horny. Yes. And I drank both pints, and I shit you not, there was a unicorn running around Bloodstock in 2017. You laugh. I'm being 100% serious.
I believe you.
I think you should. That was the years where I went streaking by mistake. Like, I was busting for it. So we were in our tent trying to like fall asleep, obviously with all the noise in that, busting for a piss, and I just walked out the tent with fuck all covering my goods. Yeah. The light they used to cop me, slang, love it. Thank you very much. Yeah. And yeah, just all out on show, walking towards the toilet, came back and just went and fell asleep. Woke up the next morning. The girls that we were camped near turned around and said, "Did you go for a piss last night by chance?" Yeah, I generally do during the night. I need to take a pee. Like, thinking like, who the fuck are these weirdos? And she said, "You wearing any bottoms?" I was like, I didn't wake up with any underwear on. I was like, I'm assuming not. And it's like, oh no, that's fine. Because last night we were all naked. We were all like topless in the tent, the door open, and we were worried that you were going to see us. And our friend says, I don't think he's going to mind or he's going to care and in the sense that he's so pissed, he just walked straight past with his bollocks dangling in the wind, and just gone for a whiz to try and find the toilets. And I thought, I've missed some naked ladies.
Anything goes at festivals, which I love. You know, it's the one place, a festival, where you can get away with stuff that you would never get away with if it was on your own street.
Yeah, you can walk through Bloodstock with no fucking underwear on and go for a piss in the portal. I couldn't walk down the street on my road here with no pants on. Definitely get some funny looks.
You'd be rugby tattled fairly quickly.
There is a children's park up the road as well, so I'll probably get arrested at the same time.
Or a dog might walk up to you and arrest you.
Nab your bits.
Yeah, anyway. So anyway, I don't know how we got here. So you've enjoyed Bloodstock.
I did, very much so.
Have we got any other festivals coming up for 2022?
Oh, there's loads. They're all preparing. They're all getting ready for 2022. Obviously, it's all going to be their sort of like comeback. It's almost like a comeback show, isn't it?
It's nice to see that they are coming back, because there was a while there where we were a bit worried, to be honest, about them not coming back at all.
Big time. So I know that 2000 Trees and Arctangent are gearing up for 2022. I believe they've 2000 Trees got Jimmy Eat World still headlining, because they were due to headline in 2020, which is a massive band for such a small festival, to be fair. Bloodstock, again, they announced 20 bands at the festival, with two headliners in being Lamb of Gods and Merciful Fate, which are two worthy headliners, if I must say so myself. What other festivals have we got?
There should be a great big list. If there's only a couple, I'm worried. There should be a great big list of upcoming festivals.
I imagine there is. It's just the focus on some of them. They've still, I think they've not. Some of them have not made their announcements for 2022, because some of them have gone ahead in 2021. Obviously, we know the big festivals, Leeds and Reading will go ahead. Glastonbury will finally go ahead after, obviously, the pandemic stopped them going ahead, and then they do their year out thing, and they'll be back in 2022.
All the big ones owned by Live Nation, I think we can be pretty certain are coming back.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's the smaller ones, really.
That old chestnut. Damnation's still got to play this year, but they've announced some of their lineup for 2022, which we did do a post on our Instagram.
Did we?
We did.
And so if people want to see that, where do they need to go to find it?
So Damnation is being held in 2022. Oh, our Instagram.
Yeah.
All right, so you can find it on @fest.pod.
Or just search for Festpod, to be honest, and it should show.
It will show.
All one word, Festpod, as in festival podcast. You see, it's a play on words.
It is a play on words, and we were very clever enough to be able to do that, weren't we?
We were.
But Damnation is still due to go ahead this year. They've announced 8 bands for 2022 and a change of venue. They're now so their current venue is in Leeds. They're now moving to Manchester.
Hooray!
And they've got the band Ministry, who are I think they're industrial sort of type band, headlining. Their early bird tickets are on sale for that, despite them not even doing their 2021 festival yet. They're on sale at damnationfestival.co.uk/tickets.
They're an industrial band.
Yeah.
Does that mean that they play on machinery and bang on the side of printing machines and
Neil? Neil?
What's...
You know that's not the case.
I know.
You're just being silly.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. Oh, do you know what? I've missed this. It's been too bloody long. It's been too fucking long. And I tell you what, there's been no innuendos yet.
Oh, I might have slipped one in and you've missed it.
Is that an innuendo, or have you generally said something?
See, you missed them. Yeah, yeah. They're so subtle that you don't notice as they slide in.
Hey, oh God, it's good to be back. It's good to be back. Oh, right. On to festivals, because that's what this podcast is all about. It's download and other festivals.
On Festpod, here on Festpod.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
Slam Dunk Festival went down amazingly, apparently. I knew a few people that had gone to that. They had a fucking wicked little lineup as well. While She Sleeps, Bury Tomorrow, Malevolence, Wargasm, Hacktivist, Blood Youth, Loathe.
That was quite recently, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. It was, where is it? Oh,
was it in August?
Probably. That's when they mostly are, aren't they? Yes, it was in August, yeah.
Because that sounds all right now.
Yeah. To be honest, the lineup was awesome. I think they did a sort of they went down the same route as Bloodstock and just got as many British-based bands as they could. Do you remember While She Sleeps? Download Pilot. He jumped up on the the sound tower. Yeah. He did the same with Bloodstock.
Did he? That's obviously his thing then.
He might, yeah. He has a thing. He likes to climb sound towers.
Why not?
Fair enough.
Yeah.
And in fairness, I think they played in Camden. It was last night. And he's jumping in the crowd and crowd surfing all sorts. So yeah, he's a bit of a wild one.
He likes to touch the audience.
Why wouldn't you? Well,
let's move on.
Oh, fucking hell. I'm so glad to be doing this again. It's been a long, long time.
It has.
All right, what else can we talk about?
Have you finished with other festivals?
Fucking I honestly, there is loads of them, but I think because we've not seen them in a long time, or they've not said anything in a long time about the festivals of 2022, I'm a bit stuck.
Oh, so they haven't released their lineups or anything?
Right, let's check out
don't put yourself to any trouble. I mean, only if you've got it there.
No, I'm doing it now. No, because obviously 2000 Trees and Arctan Gent, they were very focused on their 80 trees, weren't they? That happened at the end of July and beginning of August.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
I do.
And they were very focused on that. So I mean, that's probably why they haven't really posted much about 2022.
Didn't they say they were postponing the main festival and just having a little festival?
Yes. All right, I found it. And no wonder neither of us can remember anything about it, because they fucking cancelled it back in February, I think. Or had to cancel it in February.
Oh, yeah, of course they did.
Yeah, I'm just skimming through there. I'm sure. If I was a professional, I'd have done this earlier.
Well,
but I'm just skimming.
I wasn't going to say.
And I think, they cancelled quite early on because obviously the pandemic and that. And their lineup is basically being, as much of it as they can, is being pushed on to 2022, like Download.
Yeah.
Which, as I've mentioned, includes Jimmy Eat World, Thrice, Boston Manor.
Can I just say, we haven't had a full fat Download festival for 2 years now.
Oh, by the time we go back, it'll be 3 years, won't it?
So we've missed out on 2020. So that was 1 year.
2021.
Yeah, 2021 we missed out on. So, oh my God. So people will be... Can you imagine what it's going to be like?
It's going to be carnage.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I know. I'm still seeing a lot of people complaining about the fucking headliners, and they need to give it a rest because what it is now. But yeah, I mean, come 2022, it's going to be insane. I'm very glad we're in ROP away from all the nutters.
Yeah.
They're going to have fun in their own way, which won't be the same fun as for me. So
there'll be people walking out of their tents stark bollock naked looking for the toilets in the middle of the night. There'll be people with their bosoms hanging out in their tents. What's the world coming to? Oh no, sorry, that's Bloodstock.
Yep.
Do you know? It sounds like a festival that you'd go to. It doesn't. You don't.
Oh, I do go to it.
I know.
I've been a few times
because of that. You don't see people with whips and chains at Download, do you? Well, not that I've not seen that. Or have you seen that?
Well, Bloodstock is. I go looking. Bloodstock is a 20,000 capacity festival, whereas Download's 100,000. So they probably are there. Just you don't get to see them.
Oh, there. Oh, I see. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we're looking forward to Download 2022. We're looking forward to all the other festivals that are happening next year as well, because I think that's it for this year, isn't it? Really?
Yeah. Festival season is, as I believe it to be, over. There are the odd couple of day festivals happening in and around towards the end of the year. There'll be indoor festivals because it's getting a bit chilly. But I believe, I think everyone's in preparation for next year now that we know that we can all do it, go ahead and safely and all that sort of thing.
Did you just say ting?
I did.
Okay, just checking. Alrighty. So apart from festival news, is there any new music that we need to be across?
Oh, there's a few albums and a few bands that are bringing out some new music that come to mind. Iron Maiden being the big one. Have you given any new Iron Maiden a listen?
I haven't, but then they're not a go-to band for me. I like some of their older stuff, but I wouldn't particularly put them on.
So I think I mentioned it on the last Festpod we did. They brought out a new track. I think it was the weekend we did it, and that was a really, really good track. I've not listened to the full album yet. However, I think it was last week, from today, that they were neck and neck with Drake to being the number one album.
Wow.
Worldwide. Worldwide? No, the UK.
You can't deny their popularity.
Oh no, of course you can't. They are an amazing band that put on an amazing show.
Oh yeah.
Not for everyone, of course. Not all music is. But the fact that they were again neck and neck to be number one in the UK with Drake, who wins or who is every time he brings an album out, it's always number one. He's always the top downloaded artist on Spotify every year.
Can I just mention something about Drake? Apparently, he has released a version of "I'm Too Sexy for My Shirt" by those two bald fellas. Right, said Fred.
That is actually interesting. That's so random.
And apparently, it's in the chart. Now, of course it is. I haven't paid any attention to the charts since I was a radio disc jockey, and even then I was only vaguely interested. But apparently that's true. He actually has made a version of it, and it's doing well. So even when it came out, I know you're a bit younger than me, but even when that came out in something like 1991, it was like a novelty record. People weren't taking it seriously. You know,
it's those sorts of records, those sorts of tunes that a lot of the big artists these days are using as samples because they were so, again, like you say, they were a novelty, and there might only be like a niche group of people that would have recognised it and heard it, that they're using it. I imagine there'll be a lot of younger people in America that love Drake's music that probably would have never heard of it and would imagine this is his original track.
But why would you choose that to re-record? I mean, you know, I just don't get it. I'm too old now.
Neil, it's a fucking banger.
Yeah, okay. Well, if I see it in your record collection, I won't be surprised.
I'm Too Sexy for My Shirt is still a classic.
A classic?
Hey, we go. It's what was it? It's a classic, isn't it? 30 years ago. Come on. Fuck, we're old.
Don't give me numbers like that. They just frighten me. So, we have new music from Sleep Token next week.
they've got a new album coming out, and if it's anything like the 2 new tracks they brought out a few weeks ago, it's going to be an amazing album. There's a lot of people that are really, really excited by it, and obviously after their live show that we saw at the Download Pilot, I'm very excited by that as well. Do you know Dave is seeing them? We saw them last weekend as well.
Dave Kingdon?
Dave Kingdon?
Dave Kingdon from the earlier episodes of Festpod?
Yeah, I still talk to him. He's not just a Festpod crony. He went and saw them last week, I think. He hasn't given me a rundown yet. I don't think I've spoken to him since he went. Who else? Who other new music? Spirit Box, who are also playing Download next year. They've got a new album coming out, and I believe they're releasing, or they have just released a new track with Sam Carter from the Architects. Again, I can't tell you. I'm really bad at this research at the minute. I can't tell you the track, but it's on the new album, and the new album is due out soon too.
Okay. And Placebo.
Oh, Placebo are one of my favourite bands ever. They're literally up there with Korn in my
really?
view. Two totally different genres.
I was not expecting
music,
you to say that.
I love Placebo. I've seen them a good handful of times. I absolutely love them. I think his vocals are so unique and so unique, and the sound of the music is just it's amazing to me.
I'm quite fascinated by Brian Molko. I don't know why. I'm just fascinated.
I am too. He's an enigma.
Yes.
If I had to put a word there, he is an enigma. And Stefan Olsson, when he's on stage, he's brilliant. He loves to come up. When I think that they play a track called "Tasting Men," and he'll come out and do what, and I quote, this is from Brian Molko himself, because we bought they did a tour in France, and that went to DVD. And he said, "Okay, Stefan, go out and do your gay little dance." And he goes out and does this dance, and it's a fantastic show. If you've not seen them, go see them.
I shall have to put them on my list.
I think you should.
Yes. So that is all the festival and music news. And next, we'll get some advice about going to Download in the guide. In this section, we'll try and answer your questions about what it's like to go to Download Festival, things we recommend, and things to avoid. This time, essentials. When you're going camping at a festival, the last thing you need is to discover you've left something vital at home. So here's our guide of things you'll definitely need to take with you. Some people turn up to Download with fuck all. They turn up with basically a rucksack with I don't know what inside it, and that's them, and possibly a pop-up tent. I don't know how they survive. I mean, how could you survive on that for a week? I'm obsessed with these people, and I want to know what's going on there. I want to know what they do for an entire week with 2 pairs of pants. And
turn them inside out. There's your answer. Turn them inside out. Hope for the best.
Yes, and hope for no accidents.
Yeah.
Don't trust a fart. So, these are the things that basically you need to take with you. You must take these things with you, otherwise your weekend will be completely ruined. It's not the things that are optional. It's just the things that you could, if you were going to do that, if you were just going to turn up with just, the essentials, because, as we've already said, if you pack the kitchen sink, it's going to be very difficult as a weekend for you. Just to transport it all, you'll have to make multiple trips to and from the car and the car park, the campsite, and it's not going to be nice because it's not a nice journey. So, what can you do to minimise that? This is going to be fun. I mean, if you're camping, then you would hope a tent of some description. Although you can go without a tent and just get one. You can book one. That's already there.
You could do what I did at the pilot. Buy a pop-up tent. Yeah. I don't recommend it. It was bloody awful, but yeah. Oh, that was horrible.
Yeah, pop-up tents are not nice.
My feet were hanging out all night, and that's why I was lucky. I had that giant tarp to go over the top of it. So obviously so I didn't have to zip up the tent. My feet were hanging out, and I'm not a tall person.
But you're about 6 feet, aren't you? Same as me, aren't you?
Roughly 6 foot, 5'10", 5'11". Yeah, so I'm not huge. I'm not a great gangly thing. My feet were still hanging out at the end of the pop-up tent.
Yeah. It wasn't a child's tent, was it, that you bought?
Do you know what? It could have been.
I think it saw the bin shortly afterwards, didn't it?
No, it's in the shed. It's
Oh,
in the shed.
really? You've kept it?
Because we got plans for it. Once we've settled in the house, we got plans for that pop-up tent. It will be reused. I do not believe anybody should ever have a tent for single use and then leave it at a festival. So when the pop-up tent, I've still got it. I've got all my tents that I've had over the years, to be fair.
Whatever happened to that photo that was doing the rounds on Facebook a while ago of cardboard tents that people were saying,
look, me, yeah.
Do you remember that? Look, we could have these, but it's going to get so sodden at download that it'll be nothing by the weekend.
Yeah, environmentally friendly tents. They're all cardboard and crap, and it was just like, yeah, that's a good idea. Take that to a British festival. It will be sludge by the time the weekend's through.
But there were so many people going, oh yeah, this is going to be great. Yeah, I won't need to take a tent and I can just fold it down and recycle it afterwards. That's a great idea if it works, but I just don't have the confidence in a cardboard tent.
We've had experiences at Download, especially where it's just pissed with rain all weekend. Again, it wouldn't be worth it.
No.
But so tents. I wouldn't say a tent is totally essential because, like you say, you can buy them at Fat Frank's, and you can also you
rent them as well from Fat Frank.
Fat Frank does rentals, and you can do the Ready to Rock option for Download as well. But we don't want to divulge too much into that because we've done that one before.
So you don't even need to take a tent with you. I love this.
No. You need your ticket.
Yeah, that's probably essential.
Yeah. See, well, you said essential, so I'm going really, really.
Yeah, I'm not taking a piss. I'm agreeing with you. I'm just putting a voice on. That's all. Don't be sensitive. Yes.
I'm upset now. Now you've said that. Now you called me sensitive. I'm upset.
So, you'll need a ticket. I went to a gig last night, like I say, and I didn't have a physical ticket. I had one on my phone, which is only good so long as you've got charge in your phone.
So that's another essential.
Yeah.
For a festival, take a fucking battery back.
Yeah, and a cable.
Or if you're renting the lockers, take a cable for the charge in the lockers.
Oh, yes, that's a very good point, actually, because those lockers have chargers in them, don't they, that you just plug into?
They do indeed. So, taking a cable or a charger pack to make sure that your mobile phone for your uploads to your socials or just taking pictures and videos for yourself, you got to make sure your phone's got a decent battery. Take battery packs. I can't remember what the unit is called, but it's MAH. The higher, the better. They will charge your phone for longer and more times over the weekend. So an essential for me, definitely take a battery pack.
You used to be able to rent those at Download.
You can. We did it at Bloodstock. You pay a price and you go to, I think it's Charge Candy, and you only get the only downside to it is that you get one and that's it for the day. You then you give them back the next day and then get another one, and you can only get one charge off of it. You can't repeatedly keep going backwards and forwards.
I think that's shit. I remember a few years ago when you used to be able to have as many as you needed per day. As long as you gave the old one back, you got a fresh one that was fully charged, and that you use that. Then when that was done, you gave it back. And if you needed multiple ones in the day, they weren't counting. They would just give you a fresh one. I
think the only downside with that is that a lot of people took them home, and then they've got I mean, I know you obviously they recoup the money because obviously with deposits and stuff, but you've lost a lot of the charges themselves. So maybe they just thought, right, if we just do one a day and we give them like a little tick off on their wristbands or whatever, or tick off system, that'd be better for them for business wise, so they can keep hold of the charges.
And have you still got your charger? Or did you have to give it back?
Well, we gave them back. I took my own to Bloodstock.
Right.
But one of them didn't have as much battery as we thought. So we on the second day we went and got chargers from Charge Candy, sort of as a just in case.
It's nice to have that option, isn't it? I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there's options available if you don't take a phone charger.
Mm-hmm.
There's options available if you don't take a tent.
Oh, fuck me, we're not doing very well at this, are we?
I know. But you do need a ticket.
Right, okay, so out of the three we've said, we've got one right. That's fine.
You don't even need to take food necessarily, unless you've got dietary requirements.
This is true. I'd have said money as well. You need your debit card with a bit of cash on it, or physical cash if you want to. I suppose. Who uses cash these days?
Well, this is it. I mean, most places are cashless, aren't they now? Especially with the old viruses.
Yeah, I mean, the download pilot was totally cashless.
Yeah, that was good. I really like that.
Bloodstock was majority cashless, but they were accepting cash if and when. But money is essential, just because if you want to buy merch, if you want to buy food. So yeah, so far out of the four that we mentioned, we've got two.
But what the thing is about money, right? Do you want to take hundreds of pounds that you've spent months and months and months earning in readies, and then keep it in your pocket, and then fall asleep in a chair and then have it robbed?
See, this is the thing, isn't it? I mean, you need to really, if you're saving it up, stick it on a debit card. Do not take physical cash, because as we've had friends in the past, they have been on two occasions, one year after the other, had their money stolen. It doesn't help that, I mean, people start gobbing off saying, I've got £600 in my pocket. Yeah, well done. Now everyone is going to know that you've got money on you and you're going to get robbed. As an essential, put money on a debit card for fuck's sake and just use that. If you lose the debit card, cancel the debit card and you'll figure it out. Yeah,
sensibleness prevails when it comes to money. It's
yes, indeed.
Important. So we've got cash so far, and we've got tickets.
Mm-hmm.
Clothes you can buy at the festival.
Fucking hell! What? We didn't think about this one, did we?
I mean, you can't buy pants and socks. Oh, you can, but you can. Do you know what? I bet you can actually.
You fucking can. No, you can. You can. You fucking can. Well, you could at Bloodstock. I'm sure I saw like a 5-pack of pants and a 5-pack of socks at Bloodstock. Christ.
Now, the thing is, when you're buying clothes at a festival, we're not talking off the peg sort of Next or ASOS kind of gear or Primark or even, M&S, nothing like that. We're talking festival type clothes. So if you want to turn up with clothes that you're wearing for one day and then buy more clothes for the rest of the week, you're going to look pretty interesting by the end of the week.
I'd never thought of that before, but yeah, you would. But I mean, we've been camping near people before that literally they turn up. So there's one specific person I can think of. They turn up in their bleached jeans, the black boots, skinhead sort of type, his denim jacket or denim leather sort of type jacket, and that was him for the week. Not just a weekend, not just 2 days. That was him for the week.
For the week.
Bought a pop-up tent and his clothes and a case of beer, and he was done for the week. And I just thought, so how much essentials do you need to survive a week at Download?
I don't think. Well, it depends what your standards are, doesn't it? Do you want to have smelly clothes all week?
I don't like smelly clothes.
I don't like smelly clothes. No. So The other, apart from obviously things like a toothbrush, which might be nice to take with you, but then they probably sell those in the co-op that's there, don't they? Or isn't there a pharmacy?
There's a pharmacy that does all your prescription drugs and your non-prescriptions as well. Over the counter.
Legal drugs. Legal drugs. Not illegal.
Yes.
I should imagine they sell toothpaste as well. And bog rolls. In fact, you can get bog rolls. I know you can get bog rolls.
Mm-hmm. I'd say, you mentioned clothing. I'd say a waterproof. But you can buy a fucking waterproof at the festival.
Yeah. I don't know. See, if we're being sensible, you need to take waterproofs, wellies, pants and socks, clothes for the week, a water bottle probably, just for those emergencies.
I would say a water bottle. One for peeing in the middle of the night.
Well, yes. So that you don't have to walk out stark bollock naked looking for the toilets.
Exactly. But also some sort of vessel or container for water during the festival itself. Because if it's hot, you're gonna need to keep yourself hydrated. And unfortunately, beer does not hydrate you, despite what people think.
It's so unfortunate because we try so much to get hydrated with alcohol, but it just doesn't seem to happen.
No, it doesn't work, unfortunately. Despite the fact that most beer is 96 or 95% water, it doesn't hydrate us.
That's so weird, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Beer is essential normally for a festival, but you can buy it there. You can pre-order your beers if you want to at the Cold Cans place that's run by Carlsberg, I believe. You can even just go to the fucking bar and get a pint that there is there as well.
Yeah, but festival tax on pints is quite high.
This is it, really. Because if you're somebody who's not splashing the cash constantly, you're going to want to take these things with you because it'll cost you a few £1,000s to get all the things that you need at the festival.
Well, this is why the last few times that I've been, I have taken everything in the kitchen sink with me because I don't want to be buying everything actually at the festival because it does just cost a lot. A case of beer. To be fair, the Carlsberg Cold Cans thing is actually quite a good deal. Was it 24 cans of Carlsberg, ice cold as well for 20 quid?
Yeah, and it is cold when you get it. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's pretty good. But I definitely say beer or some sort of alcoholic beverage is an essential for you to be able to loosen up and enjoy the festival. Some people can do it without alcohol, and I tip my hat to them because alcohol is a poison. It's disgusting. It's dirty. But
dirty.
And I need it to be able to just to chill out at the festival. So yeah, I reckon a beer of some description is essential. Yeah,
or Jack Daniels in my case.
Or Jack Daniels on that Friday, that pilot, mate. That was an amazing decision. I'm going to do that every.
Because you don't get full. You're not full of liquid, then, are you? But you're probably more pissed.
I slept really comfortably on that Friday night. Admittedly, the Saturday night because I hadn't drunk that much because I was still a bit hanging from the night before. The Saturday night was an awful night's sleep. I woke up with bruises on my hips because I couldn't get comfortable. But on the Friday, I just passed out. It was brilliant.
We did have a laugh, didn't we?
We did. It was a lot of fun.
We met some lovely people. So where are we then? Essentials. So I think if we're being serious, a sort of mattress of sorts, because you had bruised hips despite having some sort of flooring in your tent.
Yeah. So the flooring that I took, again, it was only maybe 5 centimeters thick of like foam. So again, which is usually what the rollout mattresses usually are for when you go camping. I definitely recommend some sort of blow up mattress just to keep you off the ground and to have some sort of stability when you're trying to sleep. Also, the higher off the ground you are, the warmer you'll be during the night. But yeah, to have a nice, comfortable night's sleep, a mattress, an airbed, I'd highly recommend as an essential.
The first time I ever went to download, which was in 2013, I was working there, and I was in this staff campsite, which was actually next to the track. And I think I'd not long been a steward on this kind of thing. It was my first time at download, so I didn't take any kind of mattress. I simply brought my pop-up tent and a sleeping bag, which was a cheapo one from B&M Bargains or something like that. And you don't realise without the mattress just how cold the ground gets at night time. And I could not sleep. What with all the bleeding aeroplanes flying across every 5 seconds, then I had to do oh my God, what would it have been? About an 18-hour shift in those days.
Fucking hell.
Stood up.
That doesn't sound fun.
No, and I don't think they allow it anymore. But yeah, it was tricky. So definitely, it's not just about sleeping comfortably, but also insulating you from the cold at night time. And it's not something that people know about.
No, I've started taking fleece lined like jumpers and pajama bottoms. Just because again that extra fleece line inside, it does keep you warm during the night. Obviously your sleeping bag as well. An all season sleeping bag is definitely an essential to keep yourself warm during the night. With your mattress.
See, I think as you because we've been going to download for a few years now, and as the time goes on, you start to miss those creature comforts. And so that first year that you went, and you basically were like a complete noob, and you don't know anything about camping, you don't know anything about what you really need for this festival, and you turn up with fuck all, and you learn as you go on. You start bringing the kitchen sink with you, just because, I'd like to take these creature comforts with me. I'd like to have this with me, and I'd like to have that with me. But eventually that becomes a burden, is what we've found. And so we've just sort of tried to sort of get rid of some of those nice bits. But you really need the nice things. So this is why we've ended up paying for RIP for 2022, so that we can have, nice warm showers and ceramic toilets with locking doors and toilet paper and things, and it's nice to have those bits as opposed to just sleeping in a pop-up tent.
And to be able to camp near the car means that we can take the kitchen sink with us, so we haven't got to walk or hike miles on end carrying it all to the campsite.
That is a very good point, actually. Yeah. Or as what I ended up doing was hiring a camper van, only a small one.
Oh yeah, you bumble camper. You can't do that next year, can you?
Well, if I could manage to find a camper van ticket, then I probably would. But I don't think I will be able to.
Surely though, the size of those campers, you can park that next to your tent. Not that you need a tent, but you can surely park that in your space for RIP. Or is that considered? Was it too big to be considered, say, parking the car next to your tent type thing?
Do you know? You're probably right there. Funnily enough, I think I could get away with that, because when I turned up with it the first year, they said, "So, are you here for regular camping, or have you got a camper van ticket?" In a camper van which was emblazoned with the words camper van. So they clearly didn't give a toss whether I was going to pitch up in the regular camping or not. The only thing that we've been missing is the access to a PowerPoint, which is a fuck about in itself, so I could probably go without that. The only thing that would happen is that the leisure battery would run down from the fridge, or charging your phone up, so you wouldn't be able to top that up unless you started the engine. So this is very technical now. This is not going to apply to everybody, but that's an option if because the other thing is you've got lockable doors and you've got a metal roof, so if it does piss down like it's 2016, you're not going to get wet. So I can't think of any other essentials. Decent walking shoes, I suppose. You know.
Oh yeah, a decent pair of walking boots, because the wellies that I had in 2019 actually they were not very good, and I ended up going home halfway through the day because my feet were just in bits. So yeah, I'd recommend going to any sort of like hiking or sports shop and just getting a decent pair of waterproof, if you can, hiking boots. It would just make the walking around the arena so much more comfortable.
And
I don't think you can buy hiking boots at Download. So maybe that is an essential that you need to take.
Oh, I think you might be right there. Yeah.
We found one.
Yeah, I can't think of I can't remember seeing them actually.
No, I've seen. I know they sell wellies, but like actual boots, like hiking boots, or even like your bloody armed forces style type leather boots. No, I've never seen those.
That's a very good point. So, but yeah, there's a fine line to there's a what's the phrase? There's a balance to strike in bringing nice shoes and ones that you don't mind leaving in the mud.
Yeah. Yeah, well, again, the pair that I arrived with in 2019 ended up going straight in the bin after 2019's Download, because they were just absolutely caked in mud, and when they dried, there was just no way to sort
Useless,
of unstick the shoelaces. So I ended up getting a new pair, which I need to renew because they've had a good innings. So I need to get a new pair of hiking boots for next year's Download.
So if you like hiking, get a pair of boots for that. And then once you've had them for a year or two, then bring them to Download, just in case you have to leave them in the mud, is my advice. You can tell us your do's and don'ts, tell us about something we've missed, or just give us your opinion on what we've said. Just send us a message through the socials or at festpod.co.uk. Just click on message to speak to us. Next up, we'll find out what's coming out of your mouths on social media. In this section, we've got in touch with you, dear listener. We've got some of your replies to our question online when we asked, what's the biggest mistake you've made at Download? Now, we've had some very, very interesting replies to this one. This is probably the most entertaining that I have found on our socials. My biggest mistake was 2016 in believing that those big grey clouds were passing over. It's windy, they'll pass over, it's not going to rain, and I don't need to take my umbrella. I'm in my men's leggings, which I had bought there, festival leggings, brightly coloured, and what a twat. Went into the festival and it was like it was raining acid. You should have seen the panic amongst everybody. And we all got absolutely sodden. That was my mistake.
I was wearing my Spider-Man morph suit and a pair of wellies. That was it. And when that rain came down, and we had to trounce back to the campsite to basically completely change. We missed. I think we missed Kill Switch Engage. I think we missed half of Baby Metal's set as well. Yeah, it was just not. We all got caught out, and the panic ensued once that rain came down. Everyone went to like a stall to try and find some sort of poncho.
Yeah, it was incredible. Now we've had. Oh my God! There's some funny comments and there's some really awful comments. Have you seen?
We've got a Skywashy saying not bringing wellies.
Oh, that's a big mistake.
Dan Browning has said he's used a crappy single skin tent, and Inexorable 73 took a pop up tent once. It was way too small. So yeah, we've obviously got stories on those.
Doesn't he say that it's too small for his fat ass?
He did. I can relate to that from last year. But one of my biggest mistakes was getting too drunk and falling asleep at 4:00 in the afternoon. 1 year, this has happened in 2018, and I only just managed to cash in Visions for their set at the Bawley Takeover. In 2019, I completely missed the whole thing. Got drunk, passed out at 4 o'clock, and didn't wake up again till the next morning about 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, not great. Another one about 2016 here. I think there's a collective mental scar amongst all of us who were there in 2016. James Oliver on Facebook says, wearing Converse in 2016. Oh no. That's not good. Then we've got somebody who's a druggie who says, I'm not going to name him, 10 tabs of acid and an ounce of ketamine. That's a mistake. I don't think that's...
Hell.
What's the point? You might as well stay at home and do that.
Hey-ho, we're all different.
Tegan Ann Williams on Facebook says, wearing Doc Martens in 2019, getting one of them stuck in the mud and ripping the bottom off of it completely and still hobbling around with it on because I was completely off my face. Ended up with mega blisters and the muddiest feet you could imagine. I might as well have gone barefoot.
There does seem to be a theme here at the minute.
Yes.
Shit weather and shit footwear. No, Doc Martens aren't shit footwear. I take that back. They're proper solid footwear. So how stuck this person may have got in the mud, like that, she must have really fucked them up or really got stuck.
2019 was pretty bad for mud, as I recall.
Brownload, yeah. I mean, we had Drownload is 2016 when we all got fucking soaking wet. Brownload is when the mud pools in the village.
The entire site was just caked. Yeah, I remember that. Going mudsliding on day one, that's a mistake.
Especially if you've not brought enough clothing or enough like sort of shower gear. Maybe if you've only brought wet wipes to do yourself a wet wipe shower in the morning, and you decided that on day one you want to go for a mudslide. That bag of wet wipes are only going to do so much. Well, I've got one here from the Dear Download podcast. As another download podcast, they've mentioned seeing Sixth over Linkin Park's Hybrid Theory set. I love Sixth, but I would probably regret that as well. Obviously, knowing what would happen to Linkin Park the year after or a couple of years after with Chester Bennington.
Yeah,
but I mean. Missing out on a band when they've done something incredibly special, it does make you sort of like, oh crap, I should have gone there instead of instead. Man,
missing bands that are no longer together is something that is. Oh my God, it's just the worst feeling. It's the worst feeling when you know you could have seen them and you chose not to, or you couldn't.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. It's like the year that Motorhead were due to play in 2016 was the year that Lemmy died. So, I mean, I was quite keen to see Motorhead because I also want to see the real Ace of Spades. Yeah. Like you didn't get to see them. They left that slot totally blank, didn't they?
Nikki Shan Elizabeth Cartwright. That's quite a long name. Taking a cheap £15 tent. £15 tent. Where do you get a £15 tent from? Anyway, perhaps it was secondhand. Took a £15 tent in 2016 and coming back from Rammstein to find the inside of my tent soaked through. Lucky my rucksack was waterproof and my clothes were dry. Oh, no. I mean, there's a few of those, actually, where people have bought cheap tents and then found them floating when they came back because of all the rain.
Yeah, there's nothing you can really do about the weather. Yeah, I mean, you've got to prepare for the worst. Like, you've got to prepare for the monsoons and the heat wave that could potentially ensue.
Brett Granger says, meeting my ex. Oh, no. No.
So, does that mean they found love or they found what they thought was love at Download, and then it's not worked out? So now it's a regret that they met that person at Download.
There's clearly more to this story, isn't there? We just don't know. Mel Harris has written, after waiting years to finally see Maiden live, I got so pissed on Jaeger bombs with a bunch of bikers in 2013 that I fell asleep on the hill in front of the main stage and missed the entire set. Spitfire fly past included. Oh, no.
Hell.
It's all right, they'll be on again next year. David Hill says, trusting a fart.
Never. I know of people that have been in this situation. I've never had it myself. A friend of a friend got really pissed one night and then woke up the next morning that they have shit themselves during the night, being so drunk
During the night,
and then having to call the friend and say, I need you to come and help me. Like it's really bad. Like fucking hell, how bad.
Oh my god. One or two more. Simon James Scrivens says, watching Tool. Now, some people love Tool, but
yeah, I mean,
I'm not one of them.
Yeah, do you know what? I think they're a bit like Marmite, aren't they? Like, you either love them or you hate them. Like, I know Dave Kingdon, another honourable mention, my friend. He loves them and was down like front centre stage to be able to see them. I think their shows are a strange one because they don't allow anyone to sort of. There's no screens with any sort of footage, so if you're up on the hill, you can't see what's going on, but you can hear it. And their songs are quite long and quite progressive. So,
yeah, I did wander over. I wandered over to the stage because I was curious. I hadn't actually heard any Tool because for whatever reason I couldn't get access to it. Wandered over, and as I got closer, I thought, have they started? Is this it? It was just this sort of long, droning, boring, droning sound, and I thought, I gave it some credit, and I thought, do you know what? Maybe this is just a long intro, or it's between songs, or something like that. Stayed for I don't know how long, maybe another 5 or 10 minutes, and it just didn't improve at all. And I'm really sorry to all the Tool fans. I just don't get it.
Do you remember? Again, speaking of like long, drawn out sort of either introductions or midway segments with it. Do you remember we stopped into the tent to see Patuszka, a black metal band from Poland, and the first 15 minutes of their set was literally them lighting fucking candles.
I do remember that. That's really funny.
And we walked off because again they were supposed to have started like I must have been like 2:30 something, and by 2:45 it was like all they've done is lit fucking candles.
I'd totally forgotten that until you mentioned it. That is so funny, yeah. So many candles.
I was excited to see them because I do like my black metal, and listening to them on Spotify and that, I was really excited to see them. But when I got to 15 minutes in, again, of them just doing what they were doing, I just thought, you know what? I can't be fucking bothered.
Yeah. Do you know what? The same thing happened to me last night at this other gig. It wasn't actually the headliner. It was another act who I won't mention actually, but I think you need to read your audience, or plan for a party. I think that when you go to a festival like that, or a concert or anything, if have people turned up to sort of stand around wondering what the fuck is going on? Or have they turned up to dance and go mad a bit and sing and enjoy themselves? I don't want to stand about thinking, what's this? Do you know what I mean? That's just what I've come to let go. I've not come to be confused.
That just tickled me, that did. You've not come there to be confused.
Yes. Yeah. I'm a simple guy. Just play some fucking music for me, will you? Anyway. So we've had some there's honestly so many comments that we haven't got time to read out. But if you want to have a look for yourself, or even add your own, look for our post on social media. Just look for Festpod, the unofficial Download Festival guide podcast, and have a look through. There are some amazingly funny examples of mistakes that people have made at Download, and it all sounds like good fun when you're reading about it now, but at the time it's pretty devastating, especially if you shit yourself. Anyway, during the night when you have no control. Oh my god.
That's why there's getting pissed and passing out, but what happened for this person's bowels to just to let go and evacuate during the night.
So on that Brownload note, that is it for this episode. We will be back soon, I promise. And until then, we'll see you on our socials. Just look for Festpod or go to festpod.co.uk. And if you've enjoyed this podcast, why don't you give us a little 5-star review and just tell everybody else how much you've enjoyed it, just because then other people get to discover us and enjoy it for themselves too. So thanks for listening. We'll catch you next time. Bye. A Wilco Productions podcast.
Dangling in the wind.